is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it is a Tuesday in the SWBC Mortgage Studios there at the Star in Frisco. Hello, Mickey Spagnola. I am Bill Jones, and it is a very big day, of course, as it is Election Day. It's also NFL Trade Deadline Day coming up in just over an hour from now. That deadline, Everson Walls should be joining us shortly. And Mickey, we've got a little breaking news from NFL.com to start off our day as well.
Yes, we absolutely do. The Cowboys, or NFL.com, is reporting the Cowboys haven't officially said anything. That Andy Dalton is going to end up going on reserve COVID-19. He will become the first franchise or the team's first player to land on the list since basically the start of training camp. So we'll see what the team has to say officially. But he will be on reserve COVID list, meaning he is not eligible to play for at least this week. And I think you have to be on for a couple weeks, Bill, depending on were you testing positive? Did you have contact with somebody that tested positive? I see it's been reported that it says he was not asymptomatic. So we'll see how it ends
says
up.
It's okay. Say that again. You see a report that says he was not asymptomatic.
Yeah, that's
meaning he was symptomatic.
That's what I think. Okay. That's what that means. So
if it's
kind of
it's not asymptomatic,
it's a weird way of saying it, right? Yeah, absolutely. So
because you could be placed on the COVID list.
That's like saying I don't not like you. That's
right. Let's get a double negative.
And there's Everson.
Right? Yeah. and so anyway. Once again, here we go, 2020, and of all things to happen is not only do you lose your starting quarterback for the season, but now your backup, who became the starter, who was out this past game because of concussion protocol, and it sounded like they were pretty encouraged that he would be back this week, Andy Dalton, according to Jerry Jones this morning. And now you don't have him, so that complicates the situation even more. I think everybody, you guys, and we can talk about this, is assuming that Ben DiNucci will make his second start, but starting tomorrow, Cooper Rush is eligible to practice with the team. And remember, they had signed him last week. He completed his 6 days of COVID protocol, and he can be with the team, I think, starting today. So that's also an option, too, depending on how they want to go, along with Garrett Gilbert, who did serve as the backup this past week. So we got a little bit to talk about today here on Mick Shots.
We got a lot of quarterbacks. We got a lot of quarterbacks on the roster. That's a lot of quarterbacks.
Might have to go on to the coaching.
I don't think I've ever seen a team with so many quarterbacks.
Might have to go on to the coaching staff, too, with Nussmeier and Tolzien. You got some other guys that have played in the league, and Kellen Moore. Yeah, maybe he can come out.
Seneca Wallace is on that staff.
Seneca Wallace, too. That's right. I forgot about him.
Uh-huh.
So
Seneca Wallace, Iowa State. Pilot Point, Texas.
Oh, really?
I know that young man very well. I know him very well. I know his uncle used to date my sister-in-law. I know him very well. He is a good young man. I've been out to Pilot Point many times, hanging out with the Bruce family, and that he's a good man, raised very well.
All right. Well, yeah, and we should point out, and again, as Mickey said off the top, The Cowboys have not said anything, have not made the move official yet, or made any comment whatsoever on it. These are reports right now, and Todd Archer was the first to report it. NFL.com. Ian Rappaport has reported it now as well, and so. And we don't know for sure if even though you did see a report about him not being asymptomatic, we don't know for sure that he tested positive. It could be contact tracing that puts him on there. And so we're still in a gray area as far as exactly what's going on with Andy Dalton.
And this is a good
but it does
thing.
Appear.
And I was going to say, and this is a good thing to point out too. He's already started reportedly his self-quarantine process. The Cowboys have begun contact tracing, but remember, he wasn't on the trip to Philadelphia this weekend, and none of the Cowboys players tested positive before the Philly game, and Monday's tests were all negative. So. If there's anything encouraging about the whole deal, then that's you can maybe it's not spreading like Baltimore, because if you saw what happened with the Ravens, I think they have to put 7 players on the COVID list because of contact tracing with Humphreys. Is that the guy's name? The cornerback?
Yes, number 44, the cornerback.
So we'll see where it goes from there, and. I guess when the official transactions come down at 3 o'clock on trade deadline day and election day, anything else going on today, we'll see if that's when it becomes official.
So do we have to worry about the Russians interfering with our COVID list? Do we have to worry about Andy Dalton being hijacked by the Russians?
Everson,
in order for us not to play this
we're 2-6. We're 2-6. I don't think anyone's.
Hey, we're still America's team, so there might be a little attraction there still. So it is a possibility, though, that he could still play, Andy Dalton.
No. It sounds like the reports indicate he will be out this week.
Yeah.
Even if it could be a negative, a false positive.
I would imagine that
as of right now, they will. Yeah.
I was going to say I would imagine.
Go ahead, Mickey.
I would imagine they've tested it positive before this all, twice at least before this all came out. So, because they would have.
Well, as a matter of fact, Stephen Jones on his radio show yesterday was talking about just in general about COVID-19, and he was talking about I think every team. Obviously is prepared for a positive at some point during the season, and you would be naive to think, words to this effect, you would be naive to think that it wouldn't affect your team at some point. And I mean, it almost sounded as if the way he answered the question that he might already have some knowledge of some things going on. But, to your point, Mickey, I would think that before it becomes public knowledge, there's probably been, there might have been a couple of positives. We'll see.
Yeah, and then the other thing,
sure.
and last night during Mike McCarthy's conference call, someone asked him about, do you guys keep giving the message there's more tests coming up positive around the league, and you guys haven't had any? And I was thinking, I bet McCarthy's sitting there knocking on wood. It's like, don't jinx me, right? But he probably already knew, right? And the way he answered it was very vague. He said he basically said, it's part of the team messaging every day, and he just kind of gave a real general response to it. So, it's like, the more we go on this, you guys, no one's immune and no team is immune, and unless you're in a bubble. So
you're saying that Mike McCarthy's poker face sucks? Is that what you're saying?
Well, when he said it,
it worked great yesterday.
Yeah, it worked great yesterday. So, and even this morning when Jerry was talking about it, and he was talking very positively, when they must have gone on about 10 minutes, it seemed like, on the tanking and the trade deadline. And, when they talked about the trade deadline, Jerry kind of pointed out we just wasted a lot of time on something that's not going to happen. But he had mentioned his positivity going forward was we've got Andy Dalton. We get Andy Dalton back. So who knows? Maybe it just turned up this morning.
And we've detailed the options they have on the roster at quarterback. Obviously, Ben DiNucci. You got Garrett Gilbert, who was the backup last week, and Cooper Rush, who is, as Mickey said, has the opportunity to go ahead and be on the practice field and in meetings as he's cleared. We assume he has cleared all the COVID protocols. The time has passed since they picked him up last week. So who do you go with at quarterback this week? Who do you start preparing when you hit that practice field tomorrow morning? Who goes out with the ones at quarterback?
You asking me what they're going to do or what they should do?
Danuch.
Either way you want to attack it.
I think initially he goes out with the ones, and then they see where Cooper Rush is.
DiNucci.
Yeah, DiNucci goes out, and then you see where Cooper Rush is, and I would imagine you're going to work real hard to get Cooper Rush ready, and maybe DiNucci goes on a short leash. Gosh, I'm having trouble with DiNucci's leash.
I got him, Bill. I got him.
And then maybe he's on a short leash, and you get Cooper ready. You remember, we can go back to '93 when Jason Garrett made his first start as a rookie for the Cowboys when Troy Aikman was injured, and they had just signed Bernie Kosar after Cleveland released him. And if you remember, Jason played 2 possessions. The Cowboys had a 3-0 lead, and then they went straight to Kosar on that third possession, and he finished off the game, and they ended up winning 20-15, which was one of those quarterbacks on Friday, Everson, that I was pointing out. They were giving him credit for winning his first start as a rookie, even though he only played 2 possessions. So maybe they operate.
I got one more for you.
What's that?
I got one more for you. When Bernie Costa was released from the Cleveland Browns, guess who went with him?
Oh, no way. They were cleaning house?
Yeah. They were cleaning house. Me, Bernie Kosar, David Brandon. But in regards to sticking with DiNucci, yeah, I think that's good. You have to have the continuity going, right? I mean, that's what you want. You don't want to just indoctrinate someone else into the system when you know that DiNucci is, if nothing else, he did a decent job of potentially managing what we had going on in the game. With a few bad breaks, we ended up losing, of course. But if he could just hang in there, get the ball out quicker, number one, hang in the pocket a little bit better when he needs to, or at least recognize quicker when the pocket is breaking down. And when he does scramble, I don't know what this Patrick Mahomes things he's got going on in regards to how he throws the ball on the scramble, but he looks like he needs Tommy John surgery or already had it just by the way he's throwing the ball.
Because he can't get his arm up here.
He should stop. Yeah, he should stop doing that. If nothing else, when you're scrambling, try and get out enough to where you can position yourself better. At least your body can be positioned better to be prepared to throw a better ball. I get it that he's escaping and he's trying to flip it and get rid of it, but sometimes if you just stand and deliver stronger, then you'll have a better chance of completing the pass. Otherwise, you're going to be getting a bunch of tip balls. You're going to be having guys jump your routes real fast because not only is he flipping it out there, he's also eyeballing his receivers before he throws it to them. Classic mistake from a young quarterback.
Yeah,
when
he gets out of the pocket like that, sorry, Bill, he's got to set his feet. You can't keep doing that sidearm stuff. You got to set your feet and try to throw the ball.
Right, set your feet. I'm pretty sure they corrected that already for him because as much as he was under duress, there's still, you have to have a little bit of poise while you're trying to escape.
So when you look at the three options at quarterback, which one of the three options has the most experience in the league? Which one has taken the most snaps in the NFL? Ben DiNucci, Garrett Gilbert, or Cooper Rush?
I'm guessing it's Garrett Gilbert.
Right.
It is Ben DiNucci. Ben DiNucci has more. I've just been looking up Garrett Gilbert's career stats and Cooper Rush. And the interesting thing about Cooper Rush, if they decided to go that route, and one of the reasons they would is he was so obviously in the system last year. Now, how much does this offensive system differ this year as compared to last year? Even though Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator last year, how much has McCarthy tweaked it? But the irony of it is the reason that Cooper Rush was let go by the Cowboys was because they signed Andy Dalton. He was released back on May 4th, and then he was ultimately signed by the New York Giants, and he made it through training camp with the Giants, was on their practice squad to start the season, and then was let go off their practice squad. Anyway,
Cooper does have more preseason snaps, right?
He does have more preseason snaps, as I assume Garrett Gilbert does too. But as far as regular season, Cooper Rush is 1 for 3 with 2 yards passing. He has 1 2-yard completion in his career. Garrett Gilbert.
That's a good rating, though, if you break it down.
I can look it up in just a second. I'll give you the quarterback rating. Garrett Gilbert. And that's a total of 5 games, some mop-up duty for Cooper Rush. Garrett Gilbert in a total of 6 games is 2 out of 6 for 40 yards in his career. So, and then, of course, DiNucci was 21 out of 40 against Philadelphia after going 2 for 3 against Washington for whatever, 200 and some odd yards.
So, you guys, maybe I had a premonition today because I decided that I looked at DiNucci, what he did in his first NFL start, and I was thinking, okay, this guy's a 7th-round pick. He was the 231st pick in the draft. So what happened with the 5th pick in the draft that made his first rookie NFL start on Sunday, Tua with Miami, right? So DiNucci was 21 of 40 for 180, 4 sacks, no touchdowns, no interceptions, a 64.6 quarterback rating. Tagovailoa was 12 of 22 for 93 yards, 1 sack, 1 touchdown, 15 a long, which matched DiNucci's long, and an 80.3 quarterback rating. And if I went to Joe Burrow's first start as a rookie with Cincinnati, he was 23 of 36 for 193, 3 sacks, no touchdowns, 1 interception, a long of 19, and he had a 66.1 quarterback rating. So all these people that are just all over DiNucci that he's just no good, well, there's what happened with the 2 top quarterbacks in the draft, and none of them threw for more, only Burrow threw for more yards than DiNucci did by 13 yards. So, again, rookie quarterbacks struggle. And I just happened to look up one more thing before we go to break here, and Everson might remember this. In Troy's first start in the season opener 1989 against New Orleans, he was 17 of 30.
New Orleans Saints in the Superdome.
In the Superdome. He was 17 of 35 for 180 yards, same as DiNucci. He was sacked twice, had 2 interceptions, a long of 24, and his quarterback rating in that game, 40.2.
40.
And he took an ever-loving beating by the Saints, who were coming after him every down.
And this is after we had gone 3-1 in the preseason, and you could not tell us that we were on our way to being the new University of Miami of the NFL.
And DiNucci put up 9 points. Troy got shut out 28-0.
Well, now we have to give Tua some credit, even though, let's say, Tua has to give others credit. I think he's the only one to win his debut, correct?
Right, and they put up...
And I think it's an NFL record of the first one to win his NFL debut with less than 100 yards passing.
They ended up putting up 21 points on offense. They had a return for a touchdown, I believe.
And that's why I say all facets of the game must help you in any ball game. Must help a quarterback. I said that before we signed off on Friday. That still stands.
Yeah. The biggest difference for Tua is he had 21 points scored for him. He had 28 points by halftime with the great help from Jared Goff quarterbacking on the other side. Of course, DiNucci had great help from Carson Wentz quarterbacking on the other side for the Eagles. It's just the Cowboys were kicking field goals rather than getting touchdowns out of it, and didn't have the the Andrew Van Ginkel 78-yard fumble return for a touchdown. By the way, Mickey, they also had a Jakeem Grant 88-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Right. They had two.
Yeah,
right?
so they had two returns for touchdowns. And it just goes to show it makes a world of difference in this league if you are playing from ahead instead of playing from behind.
And Tua's touchdown pass was like a 1-yard touchdown pass too, by the way.
Yes, it
was.
Yes,
which, by the way, is another reason why after going 7 carries for 42 yards in the third quarter, you don't run a wide receiver pass and lose 10 yards and take yourself
still
out
on top of that.
Preach,
there you
Bill.
go. All right, let's
preach.
We'll take a break and we'll have more Mick shots. And I just delivered my own Mick shot right there.
Yeah,
on Mick
way
shots.
to go.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Make the most of summer with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. With great offers on a huge selection of Ford SUVs and the largest selection of truck inventory to choose from. Get huge offers across the Ford lineup. So grab the family and head out. Ford's helping you make the most out of summer. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Based on 2019 calendar year total sales. Based on Autodata compact and full-size stock inventory as of June 2020.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Get the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Cowboys fan. Join Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, starting at just $20. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United. All right, it's the Cowboys and the Steelers on Sunday afternoon at AT&T Stadium, and we know of one quarterback who will start in that game, and that will be Big Ben Roethlisberger for the Steelers. And we aren't sure if Big Ben DiNucci will be starting for the Cowboys or not, but we shall see. And if you're just joining us, Andy Dalton reportedly will be placed on the COVID-19 reserve list. And so the Cowboys are choosing between one of 3 quarterbacks that they have on their roster to trot out there for the first snaps of practice tomorrow when they reconvene here or at the Star in Frisco. Mickey, you got an opportunity to listen to Mike McCarthy yesterday in his press conference, Jerry Jones this morning since we last got together. What stood out for you from either one of those?
I think the thing that stood out to me with Mike McCarthy, because everybody's kind of getting on this kick about big picture. Do you have to reassess what your goals are for this season, starting off 2-6? And McCarthy pointed out, it's like at this point you're not a big picture. He goes, my focus is on winning the third game, and I think that's what the team has to do. You can't sit there because answer. You know what? You can only win one game at a time. You can't win 4 at once and get to 6-6. So I thought it was a really good perspective on his point. It was like, let's continue to improve. Let's try to win that third game, because you can't win 4 until you win 3, right? So that part stood out to me. He hasn't thrown in the towel. He continues to say, nowadays everything, well, you're 2-6, you might as well tank and get a better draft choice. Well, just remember his first year in Green Bay, he was 4-8, and they ended up 8-8. So from a coaching standpoint, there's no thoughts of throwing in the towel. As for Jerry, they were peppering him this morning about the trade deadline. Are you going to make a move? Are you not going to make a move? And he finally, at the end of about a 5-minute discussion, said, we spent a lot of time on something that has high improbability today, meaning improbable of making some sort of dramatic trade. And his point was, yeah, you could. He goes, we're always ready to do something, but what are the chances that something just kind of falls in our lap? It's not like we're going out there searching for something. And Stephen kind of said the same thing. And he also pointed out that, if you make a trade like that for somebody that can make a difference, what kind of difference is that going to make on your salary cap going in the future? It's not all about just salary cap this year. And he went on to point out, he goes, we know the salary cap's going to be less next year. There's no, ifs, ands, or buts about it. With no fans in the stands in most places, the cap's going to go down. So you got to be very careful on exactly what you do. He confirmed that they have no interest in trading Aldon Smith. Evidently, there was a report out there that Seattle was making a pitch for him. And he basically said that's definitely correct. We were not interested in that. And then the last thing I think I'd like to point out from what Jerry had to say, they were talking about tanking and, getting younger guys in there. He goes, you always want to get younger guys snaps. He goes, and you should be doing that anyway. To prepare for the next year if you've got some young guys you think are part of your future. He goes, but just because you're getting, and they interpret it as, see, he's talking about already getting ready for next year. And that wasn't his point. His point was get young guys snaps, and you should always be doing that regardless of what your record is. But he wasn't big on the tanking subject. And then at the end he says, let's go out here and get better. So he's still in there. We'll see where it goes now, having to play. Gosh, this might go back to 2001 when the Cowboys started 4 different quarterbacks. Everybody was making a big deal about starting 3 for the first time since 2015. Who knows? You may end up starting 4 different ones before this is all over.
And even when you think about it, what do the Cowboys, who has value on the Cowboys organization right now, especially on the defensive side? You're not going to get rid of any wide receivers. That's not going to happen. Contracts are too big. Nobody's going to take them. And like I said, on the defensive side, that's the only place you can look in regards to trying to trade someone. But no one wants what we have. We have the worst defense in the NFL right now, almost. And so there's no one, like they talked about Aldon Smith, but as far as I'm concerned, that would be a silly move to make because he's the only one that's making plays right now consistently on defense. I at this point, we got to go forward and try to win. And I love his answer. We can only go one game at a time. We don't have the luxury to look ahead 2 or 3 games. So I like what they're doing. They're being creative in everything that they do. And I got to say, man, our special teams, they've come up with some really good surprises. and unique ways of looking at a ball game on how they can contribute. And I really do like the fact that no one's throwing in the towel right now. As a matter of fact, seems like all the coaches are all in on what they're trying to contribute to the team.
You know, and a big thing too right now, I mean, this is the staff's first year here, and it's about establishing what kind of culture you're going to have here. I mean, and you have your quarterback for the future. I mean, Dak is the quarterback of the future. Everybody in the organization has said that, knows that. And so so this whole concept of tanking in order to get Trevor Lawrence or something like that, forget about that. You got Dak Prescott. He's your guy. And he's your guy going forward. They'll work out the contract eventually, whatever. But you got to establish your culture, a winning culture with this team. And it doesn't matter whether they've got the 4th pick or the 9th pick. I mean, you can screw up the 4th pick just as easily as you can, the 14th pick in the draft. So there's enough talent to go around. I mean, they got CeeDee Lamb with the 17th pick this year. I wouldn't be concerned about that. I think the most important thing is to develop a winning culture, your own winning culture, and establish the mindset, the play style that this coaching staff wants to have and expects out of its players. That's what I think the second half of this season is all about. And you do that day to day, game to game. It's not looking at the big picture, although this takes care of the big picture. If you do those little things day in and day out, and you're making assessments on players. I mean, you basically send a message to the players right now that you are doing your job. This is your job interview for next year's team, this last half of the season. And who knows, you may establish that winning culture quicker than you expected to, and start racking up a couple of wins, even with a backup quarterback the second half of the year in a weak division.
Yeah, and to express what Everson said about trading something, the only collateral they have that's worth anything to trade would be your draft picks, and I don't think you want to do that. You're not going to trade DeMarcus Lawrence. You'll take a hit on the salary cap that is absolutely huge, so you're not doing that. The same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. You're not doing that because of cap ramifications. And after that, who are you trading? If you're going to trade a player, because then if you're trading somebody good enough, there's no more Herschel Walker trades in this National Football League. Let's get that straight.
There never should have been a Herschel Walker trade.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to and I don't know if you agree with this, Everson, or not, but the bottom line on that too was, he was an asset, right? But Jimmy didn't like the asset. I heard him say numerous times, Herschel Walker was a straight line runner, and you can't win with a straight line runner. I need somebody that is a little bit elusive and is versatile catching the ball. He didn't like Herschel Walker. And everybody thinks, oh, gosh, they gave up Herschel Walker. Jimmy was just glad to do it because he knew the next draft he probably was going to end up drafting a first-round running back. Although he was trying to draft Francis, the linebacker from Baylor, and Cincinnati wouldn't give up on him. And then they said, okay, let's just trade back up, and we'll take Emmitt Smith.
And that whole situation was the dumbest trade. But the Minnesota Vikings had been known for doing that in the past. So that's something that was just beyond me. And boy, you talk about capitalizing off of that opportunity. That's 3 Super Bowl wins right there. Thank you, Herschel Walker. That's what we can say about that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what? And I blanked out on I was going to call him Mike Flynn. It was Mike Lynn, the GM at Minnesota, that basically thought, oh, these guys want to get good in a hurry. They're going to take all these players and not worry about the draft picks, when Jimmy and Jerry were thinking, no, we're getting draft picks. We don't care about those players. Heck, Darren Nelson didn't even want to come here. He didn't show up. And they go, yeah, that's fine. We'll just take the comparable draft pick for him. That's okay.
Well, that was so crazy because even when they acquired Herschel Walker, Denny Green didn't like him either. and he barely played. As a was restricted to just a kick returner and barely got any playing time at all. So you talk about not even capitalizing on what you had attained. That was really weird. But getting back to the high turnover, as far as the coaching staff is concerned, to me, that's a death knell. You know, when you start panicking and overreacting every year with your staff, you just turn into the New York Jets then, and that's not what you want. Too much turnover, no continuity. As Bill said, you can't establish a culture when the leadership keeps changing. So now, not only do your players don't know if they're going to be here or be gone the next day or year or whatever, you're going to lose confidence in them as a team. And that's not what you want here. Too much high turnover. That is not good for any organization. And you don't want the Cowboys to start taking on that moniker at all. Then you start looking at the lower echelon of the teams like the Jets, and we don't want to be considered that, at least not consistently.
And there's a great example of that coming to AT&T Stadium on Sunday afternoon, and that would be the unbeaten Pittsburgh Steelers of head coach Mike Tomlin, who has been at the helm of that club since 2007, and before that it was Bill Cowher, before that Chuck Noll, and we'll get into more of that when we come back here in just a moment on Mix Shots.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
What do you call a group of grown men and women who get together every week, proudly wearing the star, to share a 3-hour-long ritual of cheering, shouting at the TV, and raising their Miller Lite together while yelling, "How about them boys?" You call it Miller Time and Cowboys Nation. Here's to the only beer of the Cowboys celebrating 60 years of greatness. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2020 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Mixed Shots.
PBR fans, lock in your seats now for the 2020 PBR Unleash the Beast World Finals. And don't miss a second of the action. PBR lands in the heart of Texas at AT&T Stadium, November 12th through the 15th. Get your tickets now at pbr.com or SeatGeek.com.
All right, we continue on Mix Shots. We got 7 or 8 minutes left on this Tuesday show, and if you joined us late, Andy Dalton reportedly headed to the reserve COVID-19 list. We'll see if Ben DiNucci continues as the quarterback, making his second start against the unbeaten Steelers on Sunday afternoon, or perhaps Cooper Rush. They also have the option of Garrett Gilbert. As we concluded our last segment, we talked about continuity on a coaching staff and in an organization. And during the break, I looked it up. For the Pittsburgh Steelers coming in here on Sunday, they've had a grand total of 3 head coaches the last 52 years, going all the way back to 1969 when Chuck Noll took over. And for 23 years, Chuck Noll was the head coach of the Steelers through 1991. Then Bill Cowher for 15 seasons from 92 through 06. And now Mike Tomlin is in his 14th season as the head coach of the Steelers. That's a pretty incredible run. And that's how you do it, to have a consistent winner through the years. Well, in the 70s, they won 4. They played the Cowboys in 95, and then they won, they won a couple and then lost one to Mike McCarthy and the Packers, right? Under Cowher and then Tomlin. If I got that right.
So Tomlin has won just one Super Bowl?
Right.
Okay.
So Tomlin, and Tomlin won in 08, the 08 season, and then lost to the Packers in the 2010 season. Cowher lost to the Cowboys in 95 and won in 05. And then Noll, of course, back in the 70s, and won 4. And Steelers come in here at 7-0, and the last time they were 7-0 was in 1978.
Whoa. Wow, that's pretty good. I hated 1978. I was watching the Cowboys lose in the Super Bowl while I was at Grambling State University. I was the only one on the football team that loved the Cowboys. And when we got our butts kicked, I locked myself in the room, and they beat on my door all night, waiting on me to come out and take my medicine. I would not do it.
Okay, along those lines then, let me ask you this. Do you remember when you were watching the final regular season game of 1979 against Washington when Staubach led the comeback in the touchdown pass to Tony Hill to win that game?
In Texas Stadium, over Lamar Parrish. Yeah, Lamar Parrish was the defensive back, number 24. Yes, sir.
Do you remember where you were when you were watching that game?
I was at home.
At home? You remember your reaction?
Home, yeah. Pardon me?
Do you remember your reaction when it happened?
Man, that was the best comeback ever. I didn't think we had a chance. You know, you're talking to I think the Cowboys comebacks all are directed for me. I've always thought that. The Hail Mary was on my 16th birthday, all right? So anytime the Cowboys make a comeback, I think that's directly because they know I'm over here dying and pulling for them so hard. That's the way I was as a kid.
Here's the reason that I brought all that up, because I was in college. I was actually at the frat house watching the Cowboys come back and beat Washington. And I don't, you could have an adult beverage then starting at age 18. I'm not saying I had any adult beverages in me, although I was above the age of 18. But when Tony Hill caught that pass, I went running out of that frat house. It was like an icy day in Norman, Oklahoma, and I sprained my ankle. There was a hole in the front yard, and I sprained my ankle cheering on the Cowboys in college.
But you didn't feel anything because you were
That's right.
Self-medicated.
Have we lost Mickey?
I'm here.
Is Mickey
I was
there?
just checking to see if anything happened that we needed to report.
Mickey wasn't a fan, Bill. Mickey wasn't fan, Bill. That's what it was.
Yeah,
he can't really relate to that moment as Cowboys fans.
Yeah, that was one of the great moments in my college life.
When I was over Ron Springs' house all the time, he has that picture of Roger jumping in his arms. Of course, he's holding him up. Ron and Roger, they always, that's both of their favorite pictures. So Ron has that blown up at his house.
So, Mickey, what are you studying?
I was just trying to see if there was any last-minute trades going down. People keep talking about Quinnen Williams, and I thought maybe something happened, but I don't see anything that went on with him yet. So we're about, 45 minutes from the trade deadline right now. When the trade area expires, so we'll see what happens there. Hey, here's one thing to keep an eye on, and when the Cowboys took the safety, they had LP snap the snap to Chris Jones over his head, and basically on purpose. Before that happened, Chris Jones ended up on the injury list it was either Thursday or Friday. He was limited with an abdomen injury. And I was wondering, and this is what bothered him last year, and he didn't have surgery, and it's cropped up again. And when he was standing, 5 yards deep in the end zone when they were going to punt there, I'm going, well, this is a disaster because they're going to get the ball at about the 35 or 40-yard line, and you're going to give them basically a field goal, maybe a touchdown. So I think part of their decision, I know what they were trying to do because they were thinking, okay, we can onside kick, get the ball back, we've got to score twice. But I think the other thing in their mind was, well, I don't know how well our punter's kicking today, and with the wind blowing, we may be in trouble. Well, all I know is Hunter the punter, Hunter Niswander, I found out that not only is he a punter, but he's a kicker, and he can kick off, too. He can do all three things. Now, can he hold? Because if you change punters, if Chris Jones is actually injured, can this guy hold? Because Chris Jones is really good at holding. As a matter of fact, he should have got credit for part of that win against the Giants with the game-winning field goal, because for once maybe in 15 years, LP didn't have a perfect snap, and he had to short hop it into his body, put it down, and spin it. And he's really good at that. So I don't know if this Niswander guy can hold. Will the injury
stop him from doing? Will it stop him?
Or you can keep you keep him on.
It can't be that bad.
Maybe you can keep him on as the holder and let somebody else punt.
Keep him on the roster.
Then have two punters.
Yeah.
Have three kickers out.
His position on the roster.
We got 6 quarterbacks. We can't have 3 punters? Come on.
Right. And can't one of those 6 quarterbacks hold? I mean.
Right. Good idea, Bill.
But have any of them done it, right? So just keep an eye on that one. And the other surprise in the game on Sunday was that they didn't activate Awuzie off injured reserve. And it sounded like at the beginning of the week that he was ready to go. It looked like in practice, what we got to see, he was moving around well. And then Mike finally answered the question why they didn't. He said he wasn't quite ready, but Jerry said today that they should have him back. So we'll see if Awuzie is ready to go off of IR. But remember, they started his 21-day deal, and this would be the second week of him practicing. So we'll see where that one goes.
But here's the other part of that. They got a bye week next week, and so if they held him out this week, and then it gives them an extra couple of weeks. And so that'll probably enter into the equation now.
I wonder if the 21 days count the 7 days of you would have to activate him, though, during the bye week. Because
that's fine. He doesn't have to play.
He doesn't have to play, right? Yeah. So we'll see where that one goes. But that's worth keeping an eye on because they basically played that game with 4 corners on Sunday.
All right. Well, that does it for Mix Shots, and it's going to be interesting. Maybe we will know by 1:30 on Wednesday afternoon. Well, I was going to say maybe we will know by 1:30 on Wednesday afternoon who the starting quarterback is of the Cowboys, and we might even know by 1:30 on Wednesday afternoon who the next president of the United States is. All right.
Which do you think will happen first?
Oh, we're out of time. We're out of time here on Mix Shots. We can't go down that road. All right. We'll see you tomorrow here on Mix Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!